down to the end of the simulation. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Congratulate yourself, you are done. Everyone, please take a seat anywhere you like. We're going to be speaking from here, so if you want to turn chairs around. You did it. Take a breath. You did it. Can you grab me pens from anywhere? As you're sitting, we're going to hand out reflection sheets. If you are a person who reflects in writing, we encourage you to write. Write anything you like. We have some prompts there. If you're a person who speaks to reflect, we're about to have a session for that. If you're a person who hates me, I apologize. Take a breath. Got one? Just write. Just look at it and write. You can reflect to any of the prompts there. You can reflect other things. We're going to talk about your emotional reflection, your professional reflection. Thank you so much. Got one? There's some pens around. Feel free to steal them. You'll no longer go to detention. Paloma? Yes. I'm sorry. I need some more of these. Have one? Oh, sorry. I'm running short on these. Let me get you some more paper. Oh, good. Please share, and I'm going to get some more. Okay. Can you all help pass out blank paper to anybody who didn't get one, and we'll share the prompts? Anyone you see. And Paloma has some of the actual ones, too. Oh, she's got one. Her. Got her. Do you want to sit at this table with your computer? Ask her if she wants this space. What do you need? Paper. Paloma.
Who did?
Your real name, but please know we'd like to collect these when we're done. So if you don't want to share your name, you're welcome to. If you want to share your character name, you can. Our purpose in the reflections is many different things. One is to understand how to improve this exercise. So if you would rather say things to us anonymously, you don't have to put your name on it. If you do want to put your name on it and tell us where you're from, we would love that. We collect them all and we shape this simulation based on what we learn from around the world. You can do both. If you are a speaker, we're going to talk now. And if you're a writer, please write. And we're going to give you a website that we've built for the simulation. So if you are tomorrow, the day after, you're thinking about just how angry you were at the employment station or whatever occurred, then you can write us at the website too. We welcome that. We often get reflections from this simulation many days later from people who have really thought about sort of the challenges that they experienced. Great job, everyone. You did it. I'm so happy. I have to thank you personally before we begin as you're writing, because we ask you to do something uncomfortable and to share facts that are difficult to share and to participate in. And you all did it so honestly and so truthfully, and nobody was out of character. So thank you very, very much. Take a minute. If you guys want to grab seats anywhere. Our facilitators, welcome to do reflections as a facilitator. Just make sure you write facilitator on top. And while you're writing, because our time is short, Brian and I want to get started sort of getting your feedback. And Cedric and Brian and I have been talking about this moment that we're having right now for many weeks, because we are always excited about what happens when a new audience comes to this experience. So we want to ask you as honestly and openly as possible, what word best reflects your emotional reaction to what you just had, whether in the word of your character or in the word of you all, as people who were asked to do something like this?
Some of you were very into your character, and so maybe if we can start, everyone take a deep breath in, and then let it out. Come back into who you are, the wonderful, smart, kind people that you are. Breathe in. Okay, breathe out. Okay, so how did that last 30 minutes, 40 minutes? How did it make you feel? Let's start there.
Painful.
Frustrating. I heard stressful. I heard loneliness. Okay. Overwhelming. Powerless. Disappointed. Confused. No one is helping. Nowhere to go. No one cares if you exist or don't. And does that include the people running the stations? Did it also include the other participants in the room? Yes. Wow, lots of nods.
Sorry, I didn't understand the second question.
So she said, there's no one that cares if you exist. And I asked if that included the participants in the room, the other youth in the room.
Because they were also going through their own challenges. I think my experience, I had people who stopped and smiled in terms of the participants who stopped and smiled to me, and they asked, "Are you okay? Have you gotten anything?" So we kind of related to our experiences, and we're there to check on each other.
That's new. We often don't have adults help adults at all.
Personally, I became emotional as this exercise was going because I see myself in this exercise. These are things that I went through as a child growing up in a small town in the Gambia. Access to education was very difficult for me.
Yes.
I have to be dropping out a lot, and then I lost my parents at a very early age, and I have to find scholarship to go to school, even my primary school. And then whenever I apply for this, whenever I approach the people, they try to take advantage of me as a child. And I'm always in torn down. And I went to the social services, actually, in the Gambia, there's an office for children.
He said he's always been torn down. Please continue.
When I went there, actually, I remember one of the workers told me, "I would rather help my children than helping your people because of the tribe I came from." And then that actually broke me down. And but of course, there are always good people in the society.
Of course.
I met one primary school teacher who actually was so appreciative of me. Despite my situation, she adopted me, gave me access to education, sponsored me throughout my primary education. That's where I got scholarship to move to the junior schools and to university, and then she passed away. And from there, also challenges started. Actually, I was looking for scholarship in the government universities, of course, and that was also a problem. I wrote to over 80 scholarships applications to institutions, to government institutions, and all these government institutions turned me down.
Tore you down.
Actually, so as I was doing my advocacies and engaging in social activities, that's how some of the people recognized my work in the internet from Facebook. They contacted me. They said, "Well, we would like to support you." And as I got enrolled at the University of the Gambia, just a few months after that, I got a scholarship to go and study in Turkey, and now I'm in my third year at the University of Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University. I'm the president of the Students' Union. This exercise was really emotional for me, and I think it was great.
I'm glad to hear that, but thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Please.
Hi, my name is Cho Malouf. I come from Lebanon. My father died when I was 11 years old, and my parents were divorced when I was 10. And then I was deprived from seeing my mom till the age of 18 by a decision of the religious courts in Lebanon. And my my grandmother and uncle preferred to, we lived with them. My uncle was violent, like the character that I received, with me and my brother. Even my brother even had to go to jail for a period of time. And then when I was 18, I went directly to my mom. She married again. Luckily, her husband was a good person. But honestly, no one helped me in my life. No one. And it was so difficult to be able to make it through school and then university and then to work during the weekends. I started working when I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I worked many jobs, and then I decided to start our own organization, me and my friends, to support children in conflict and in contact with the law and support youth. Honestly, I've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with hundreds of cases, and I know how neglected these children are and that really no one cares. I was shocked today that I never expected this feeling after this experience, because I thought I was stronger than that because I've been there and I've seen a lot every day, but honestly, no. So this was really an interesting experience, and I really learned from it and I really liked it, and I thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you for sharing difficult backgrounds. But we usually start by talking about the exercise and then try to ask about its direction to real life, but you all have helped us jump right in. So let me keep passing around.
Hello. So my point of view as a facilitator was very frustrating as well, because, for example, when I could help people and I promised them that I will help them, but then from my station I can help them, but then if I went to a different station and their guys say otherwise, or they are running their own station their way, and they cannot help them in that moment, then I feel very bad because I promised the children, the young people, that I will help them, but then I encounter, and as you say, in reality, I think it's exactly the same, that they cannot help them because they are running their things on their way, and there's no communication between the institutions. So I feel very bad because I say, I will help you, don't worry, come with me. And then when they arrive to the stations, probably they were again, no, sorry, but I cannot help you, not now, come back tomorrow, or whatever. So from my point of view, I think that was exactly how reality is reflected. So yeah.
And I see a lot of nods. Does that resonate with a lot of people? This idea that someone, even when they're trying to help you, might not be able to help you with what you need the most?
For me, at every point, firstly, this experience made me realize my privilege. And at every point, I'm asking, is it really this confusing? Is this really what children who do not have people who are taking the struggle of them providing education for them, ensuring that they do not have to jump into prostitution or having to live in systems that do not provide for them? So it made me realize my privilege. I didn't grow up in a country which have social service. Well, I think they do, but then I didn't even understand what it was like, because though my parents, yes, I come from a very abusive home. Both parents were constantly fighting, but I think they made a conscious effort that I should get the best of education in Sierra Leone. So I never really understood. One moment I'm trying to find employment, and another moment I'm trying to get a health insurance. So all of it was new for me. And at every point I'm like, is this really what children go through? And as much as I work in an organization that do provide services for children who come in contact with the law, presently we're trying to get a presidential pardon for a girl who got married at age 11, early marriage. And there's a law in our country that do say if you have the consent of one of the parents, you could get married as a child. And she got married at 11, and she was the second wife. And out of frustration, because she was abused by the husband and the first wife, out of frustration, she pushed the child of the first wife into a well, and the child died. So she was convicted of murder at the precedent, something, I don't remember. And so when I meet these cases, at every point I'm reminded of my privilege, but having to feel this, having to go through it and like, yeah.
To us, that's the greatest compliment, because our hope is not to make people suffer, but to make sure that we're seeing it through eyes. Does it feel like, from what you know about what children go through who are outside of the system for whatever reason, did it feel real? Show of hands. Isn't that a shame? That's why we're here.
Yeah, and we built this with youth with lived experience, and after they helped us build it, we had to tone it down. And one of the things we're always concerned about is when people go through the simulation, they say, actually, it's not really that bad. In the 33 times we've run it, we've had a number of times with individuals with lived experience who've been through these systems, and they always say,
it's not hard enough.
It's not hard enough. It's much more, it's too clear.
And like we said, it is a metaphor, right? So we didn't put you through, hopefully, any physical difficulty. But there is a certain amount of trying to make sure that we keep the pace of this going so fast and instructing our otherwise delightful facilitators in real life. I promise you, they're going to introduce themselves and you're going to be like, wow, why were you so terrible? You seem so kind. But to make sure that they kept that rhythm going, because we're trying to take, say, a month of a young person's life into 45 minutes. Please.
Sure, this was a very traumatic experience. I think I suffer from PTSD because after a few rounds, I had to be put in detention because I was turned away from social services, and I couldn't let it go. And then I realized that unintentionally or on a subconscious level, this is very traumatic, and it's a very violent system that kids have to navigate, even as adults with our privilege. This was trauma-inducing. So to put yourself in the shoes of a 16-year-old who's been raped or neglected, or it's unbearable. And I think what made it more realistic for me was just observing how my attitude changed from one station to the next. So I came in here wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. I'm ready to play. Let's role play.
We saw smiles.
After my first few encounters with the education system and then social development and then trying to get a job, when I got to mental health and I saw the therapist turn people away, I was very shocked to be listened to and to have my concerns taken seriously and to get my tick, because I thought it was going to be another roadblock. Sure, this is so eye-opening, and I wonder if the experiences are different in the global north than they are in the global south. As someone from South Africa, I think I do not engage with any public services. If I can avoid it, I will, and this just showed me why. It's such a traumatic experience. That with my privilege, yes, I can afford to now go to private hospitals or get mental health assistance from private organizations. Imagine children who grow up to be adults who still rely on those services, how difficult life is. So thank you for this. It was fun, but very eye-opening. Thank you.
And I can say that's 100% true for many young people in the United States. They will do whatever they can to avoid the social systems exactly because of those experiences. And then we just did it with 50 wonderful people in Wales. And we had this beautiful mental health station, and so many people, as you saw in your card, it said it's very urgent that you have someone to talk to and go to mental health. And we got 10 minutes in and no one had gone. And then as we were debriefing, we actually found that a number of people worked in the mental health system in Wales. And they said, no way would the kids we work with actually go there.
I want to ask you all, as you're giving responses too, to tell us a little bit about your reaction to, do you remember when you first walked in the room? It was statues. I felt like I was in a museum. Nobody moved. What was that? What was that? Why didn't you move?
Because we were lost.
Because nobody was guiding us.
Where to go
Here and there.
Nobody moved first.
Different, something
Exactly, yes.
Thank you for all that. Just in my country, I'm working as a district child rights promoting officer. Here, I feel better when I take a characterist in adult who is supervised in a pre-trial order by the courts. It was very happiness I feel I met here, because there is the service has integrated to access myself, because when I reached many time in the social services, they did not deny my request, so they accept and my expectations. So oftenly they have give their ideas and supports, many supports. So it is lead me to feel the access of the services of beauty of the access of services. So I feel in my country, I think we also try to replicate this kind of idea and the system to work with the children's to ensure their best interests of protection. So thank you very much for the support of this.
I agree. I want to ask our facilitators one question. I think you can probably do it with a demonstration. What was deciding how you re-interacted with everyone? Can you show them? A dice. If they rolled a certain number, they were supposed to be helpful. If they rolled another number, they were supposed to be very kind, but completely ineffective. If they rolled another number, they were supposed to be just tired out, too many cases, too short of a day. Everyone's nodding their heads. They totally remember you guys like that. And everything in between.
I don't know why. The nice one never came up for me.
But it was random. It never did. But it was random, and that's the point. When I work with children, I represent kids who are accused of crimes, kids who are trafficked, young people who are in the welfare system, and they always feel singled out. They always feel that this system is unfair to them specifically. So we wanted to make sure that you all knew it was random. I was cycling through random personalities. Sometimes I would come up to people to be helpful, and they're like, oh, no, I met you before. No way. But I was cycling through differently. Brian was cycling through differently, because we wanted to make sure you knew completely randomly this is what happened to you.
So now that you know that, and on the honor code, how many of you felt singled out? How many of you felt like people were out to get you a little bit, or were being mean to you specifically?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Some people. Yeah. I imagine that increased as the simulation went on. So I know at a certain point, I became the legal aid attorney. My sole job was to help people. And I'm sure you saw me, it was a couple of times. I stood in the middle of the room. I said, I'm the legal aid attorney. Do you need help? I can help you. And everyone ignored me. Everyone just walked by me. Just like, and that's just within 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Didn't even want help anymore, right?
Yes, it was weighing you down. Yes, and then we're going to turn to Cedric. Yes. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to share the thought that it's very good that we are talking about children here, and the main topic of our exercise is how to feel, how children feels in this system, and I think it's applicable for all vulnerable groups, because the refugees in countries, they feel the same when they do not understand how the system works, and we face with this every day, because we have a lot of refugees from Ukraine now in Europe, and the system is not understandable, it's not clear, nobody tested it before it starts, and I think we should think about every vulnerable group when we exercise some new services.
We've been told that, to think about the simulation more broadly. So I want to turn to Cedric and to Kristen to talk about a little bit of the how real is this and where around the globe piece that you all have brought to life. Because we built this in the United States, and we thought, this can't possibly be like this everywhere else. And then gradually, through the development of the World Congress that Cedric will tell you about, we were listening to these sessions all over the globe and hearing the same. We lock up too many children. We do it too quickly. We do it too easily because there's nowhere else to go. We disperse children for no apparent reason except for that we wanted cleaner streets. Schools are something that if you succeed at, great, but if you don't succeed enough times, you quit or they don't let you come back. The child welfare system is misnamed because it seems to be a welfare system maybe for young children, but when you get to be a teenager, no one wants to treat you like a child or youth anymore. So you find yourself wandering. And we realized it had become global without being global. What do you think?
Yeah, so I have to say, if I can share my experience as well a little bit, I think the first thing for me was how annoying was the music. I don't know for you guys, but I remember that for each simulation, that after a while, the music go right and right.
Oh, microphone. They're asking you for a microphone. But I want to thank my sound people. I was intentionally making them make annoying music, so very much thanks to Hans and Peter and folks in the back.
Yeah, and you make me think, I've got 3 kids at home and they make noise all the time and remind me a little bit the same situation than here. The fact that you can't think, you can't have your brain focusing on anything, you know? So the music was an element about the world and the society noise that you get through your mind all the time, and you can't escape. And I think with a simulation, what we try to do is to bring you to this uncomfortable zone where children experience, as Brian and Angela said. So since a few years, we, Terlesum and partners from the Global Initiative on Justice with Children, we organized the World Congress on Justice with Children. The last session was in online, in collaboration with Mexico last November. And we had 102 sessions online from the 6 continents, Caribbean, Oceania, etc. And because with Angela and other colleagues like Kristen, we were behind the screen during, I don't know, many hours during 1 week. We saw that the problems are similar everywhere. Even if you can go to a Nordic country where you feel that the system is the best ever, that the communication, the multi-agency approach is working, or other countries with a low income and less social services, you will always find something similar, which is in the simulation today. So today it was a challenge for us because at the first time we have a global, international audience. And that was actually, which was, I think, rich to see if it could work. Someone asked me at the beginning, my binom, where we arrive, which country is that? And that's our country today. The Oceania room was our country. And we all feel a little bit foreign to the others, but I have noticed a little bit that someone else was saying that there was some collaboration between the adults. So, I mean, that gave me a lot of hope that perhaps it's because it was international and not national that people were happy to work together. So, and thank you again for playing the game with us.
One thing before we introduce those of you who are writers and you want to give us more feedback, because we're coming up at time in a few minutes, please do, and please be sure we get that. We take those very seriously. We transcribe them. We have a database we put them into.
Study them.
We really do. And then we constantly revise the simulation. So anything that you think we're not going to get to, please, criticism, positive thoughts, things we could do differently, any of that stuff, please.
And there's a website, yexls.com. We'll put it up here, and that's where you can see more about the simulation that we've built, and you can put comments in there too. And I hesitate to say this in such a global room, but we invite people to let us know if there's other places we should bring this. So you're welcome to go up to that site with a thicker marker, maybe we can grab for Lucia. And but I want to introduce we're going to make it thicker so we can see it, yexls.com. Chris, I'm going to end with you. Mariana, would you just stand up and introduce yourself? It's okay. Would you, so we can introduce all of our facilitators, and we'll end with Kristen? Thank you. Flip the page.
Do you want to introduce yourself and then pass the mic along?
I know we have a few minutes, but they're amazing people. They're not who they were.
Yeah, and can everybody maybe give them some applause because they're feeling bad right now?
Yes,
So let's give them please applause. Fantastic job.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mariana Perez. I am from Mexico, but I'm based here in the Netherlands, and I am a project assistant for the Global Initiative on Justice with Children, which is a consortium of three organizations: Terre des Hommes, the International Institute of Children's Rights, and Penal Reform International. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I was not that happy as being in the legal center station, being a little mean, but I think we have really, really deep reflections out here. And as I say, it was a little bit challenging, but I am glad that you really also feel like you get into the shoes of the youth. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Naomi. I'm from the UK and France, but I'm based here in the Netherlands. I'm currently pursuing my advanced masters in international children's rights with a specific focus on children in the justice system. I would love to speak more to all of you guys. I feel like I need to say a global sorry. I seem to get an inordinate amount of 6s. And there is one young lady in particular, every time she came up, I got a 6 and I was like, get out. And I'm so sorry to that person. So, yeah. And I'm so sorry. But yeah, it was, thank you for letting us take part. And I'm interning with Cédric for Terre des Hommes, which is how I'm here today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natasha D'Souza, and I am originally from the US, but based here in the Netherlands in Leiden. And I'm doing my advanced master's in international children's rights law with a focus on disability rights, along with armed conflict. And so those are my two particular interests. And I'm currently interning with Cedric as well here. It's a pleasure.
Hi. I'm Callum. I'm an undergrad at university right now, my second year. I'm from London, and yeah, no, I'm volunteering with the Global Initiative right now. I acted as a little security, which was a lot of teaching people rock, paper, scissors, I realized. But no, it was it was amazing seeing the simulation actually happen, obviously, and everyone's participation was great. Thanks for that. So thank you.
He was kind.
Hi, I'm Lucia. I'm a freshman in high school, and I'm also here with the Global Initiative. I was one of the education teachers. I am interested in social justice, and I'm from Miami, Florida. So.
And she's my youngest daughter.
And I am the oldest daughter. My name is Paloma. I am from Miami, Florida, but I am a second year now at Yale University with Callum. I've been doing homeless youth work with my mom for many years now, and yeah, it's always a pleasure and very excited to keep doing this. So great to meet you guys. I rolled many ones. She was very unfortunate.
Nice.
I didn't, and so I apologize for the terrible things that I said and made some people feel. My name is Kristen Hope. I work with Terre des Hommes, a Swiss child protection agency working in 35 countries, and one of the areas where we focus on is children in contact with the law as criminals or as accused or as victims or as witnesses. I did this simulation 2.5 years ago in San Francisco with Angela and her team and Brian as one of the children in the room, and I felt absolutely terrible, even though I had, I've worked in the field of child protection for over 10 years. It is, I think the experience of it, the visceral, gut experience is very humbling and deep, is a really effective learning tool. So I'm so glad that we've been able to bring this session to the World Justice Forum. Thank you so much to Angela, to Brian, to all of the partners who've made this happen. We, at Terre des Hommes, with our partners, including Professor Jennifer Davidson from the University of Strathclyde, and other partners, we have been working with the Pathfinders on the Justice for Children initiative, really trying to bring the topic of children and children and young people to this forum, which is a forum which is talking about justice very generally, but not specifically about children and young people. And so we were here in 2019, and we had a session where we were talking about this issue, bringing it to the table, and we're here again, and we're going to be continuing to talk about it. And we actually have another session on Thursday where we're really trying to drive this work forward. I'm going to end with a reflection about my experience on that forum. I felt powerful. And I felt a little bit high on the power. And so I'm not going to totally blame the dice, but it makes me think about what those of you who might have heard Vera Jourova's speech this morning in the plenary, and her when the chair asked, "What would you do if you had the magic wand?" and she said, "I would remind those in power to actually be relinquishing the power." So there's something very profound, I think, when we reflect upon what is access to justice, and how is it that we are agents in. And we have agency in power dynamics. And what is it that we're doing to be dismantling those, particularly around empowering others? And if you want to be part of that conversation, I welcome that you join us on Thursday afternoon, because this is something that we are committed to doing as part of this movement, which is through child and youth participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And they won't keep you from detention. They won't do any of that to you, I promise.
So the next to last word, if you have materials and feedback, please leave it on the employment table, the one that was not very helpful in getting you a job. Please be sure you leave it there. We're going to take it. We're actually headed to Ireland to present this at the Fianza conference. If you happen to be in Dublin at the end of the week and want to join us to facilitate, please let us know.
European Homelessness Conference.
We're always looking for people to help us run it wherever we are. And thank you, because this simulation only works as well as people participate with an open mind. And you did that. You were very open-minded, and you explored this together, and we appreciate it. And Angela, last word? Oh, sorry.
Jennifer's going to.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer. I'm Jennifer Davidson. Kristen was just speaking for a moment about the work of the Pathfinders seeking peace, just, and inclusive societies. Our work is in relation to children. So what I wanted to do is just tell you in 30 seconds that children make up 1/3 of the world's population, and they're not just an interest group, they're a multiplier, if we can get it right for children, for our wider society, best, good, well-being, and so our agenda here today is to be helping us to remember as we go back into our own worlds, to profile the importance of investing in children and in services that achieve justice for children. And so you'll have heard that we've got the session tomorrow afternoon. Thursday, thank you. Thursday afternoon. What we're doing is we're launching an agenda for action in relation to the SDG Sustainable Development Goals. And in particular, we're looking at 4 key areas for change. And what our interest is in is looking at the wider context that makes these systems act the way they do. So please join us and look out for the action agenda for action. And if you want to be finding out anything, if you want to just Google the Institute for just Inspiring Children's Futures at the University of Strathclyde, we've got lots of information there for you, and we'll have postcards at the Pathfinders table that'll take you to some more information. Or come and talk to us, because we'd love to talk with you.
We'll all be around. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We'll all be around for the rest of as long as we can stay. So please walk up and talk further. Like I said, Brian and I find ourselves having people walk up to us and say, 6 months ago I was at a conference and you did this simulation, and I'd like to just yell at you for how I was treated for 40 minutes. You're welcome to do that, but if you'd also like to talk about sort of how we take this experience to solutions. I represent children who feel invisible. I represent children who feel muzzled, and I represent children who are indeed detained by their circumstances, whether it's physical or the other things that we do to them. So ways that we can work together to make that change, we welcome, and thank you very much for being part of this today. They're going to check your QR codes on the way out, because we wouldn't let them on the way in, because you were only 15. Now you're adults.